Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp of the Limp, and I am here with Escape from Stalingrad Z. This is one that I have been very excited to show you all. I can't wait to have a chance to sit down and do a playthrough of this game because I am very excited to try it out. It was designed by Marco Pacoda, and it is by Raybox Games. This is one I did a quick little announcement video for back when they did the Kickstarter, but I liked the fact that they had multiple different options on how you could back the game. You could back at any number of different levels and get more items as you backed at higher levels. So if you wanted a cheaper game and didn't want to buy the minis, you could do that. I like it when they give you that option. That way you can get the game without having to spend a fortune, which is what I did. I was kind of mid-tier on this game. So let's open it up, take a quick peek at what all came through it. I've already been reading over the rule book, eyeballing some of the components, and I gotta say, I am excited for this one. One of the pledge levels was pretty much this, okay? So the first level was this level, right, where you have this, and then as you expand it up, you could get these components, and then if you expand it up further is when you start adding in the minis. For me, I was like, I'm happy here. I've got so many minis that I got to get caught up in anyway and painted and all this other crap. Standees are perfectly fine for me. So at our base level, we'll come back and take a look at these here in just a second. We do have our Escape from Stalingrad Z little pack here, and if you open this up, this has everything that you need to play the game as well, right? So here's our rulebook, standard rulebook, shows all the good happy stuff that you need to know how to play the game. Nothing hugely special here. So nothing, out of the ordinary or anything like that, but it's just our standard rulebook. Here's where we really start getting into things. Like I said, this is all you really need to play the game because this has your components. Now, of course, you would have to supply some of your own dice if you got just this. I don't think it came with dice at this level. I could be wrong because I did get dice with mine, but it's not a huge deal. There are 2 sheets of counters here, and these have all the accoutrement that you would need to add into your game. So all of our different zombies, the player characters are the ones here in blue. Then I believe these are doors. These are like stun markers, and if you get locked, some type of location marker, I forget what those are for. Wounds, being turned into a zombie, your turn limit, things like fires, crates that can be searched, ammo, med kits, keys, all that cool stuff is here. You can see the backs of these counters and the backs of these counters because you could draw them randomly if that scenario is calling for it. But that's not all of the counters. While we're looking at the counters, let me pull out these others because as you see here, these are similar to those, except these are the standees. So you could actually stand them up and have them like little mini miniatures, the little standee components. You guys have seen standees before. It's not a huge deal, but you do have 2 options, right? So you've got the little circle ones here or these. They're the same thing. The difference is over here we are adding in these weapon counters and things like ammo, food, med kits, and grenades all over here. So I think, because I know there was a level that didn't come with standees, but they would have to have the weapon counters. So I'm not 100% sure how that lower pledge level would account for these weapons because they would have to get the weapon counters. They would have to have these for it. I was thinking they just got the first 2 sheets. Maybe it was a PDF. I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look up the Kickstarter to be 100% sure. But like I said, I like how it kind of expanded out. You didn't have to get the standees if you didn't want them. Didn't have to get the minis if you didn't want them. Not that the minis don't look good. If I had had the extra money at the time, I definitely would have got the minis. But see, weapons, the backs of the standees, and then over here as well, the counters for ammo, more weapons, grenades, all that good stuff to use with our game. Now, before I show you the last component over here, I wanted to touch on the rest of the stuff that we have. Here are the player boards, and this is where you're going to have who your character is, any innate weapons they might have, but of course you're going to get more weapons. I do like how they have a ready and an offhand weapon, so this is like your main weapon. And then if you've got two one-handed weapons, so like a machete and a pistol or something like that, you could equip them into each hand. There is a penalty for using an offhand weapon when it comes to your rolls, but some guys have the ability to get experience, skills. That's what's referenced over here. And as you kill zombies, 1 point per zombie, you can gain enough experience to gain these skills. And some of them will give you things like the ability to not be penalized with an offhand weapon. There are multiple different characters, as you can see, good number of player boards here. And we do have these nice little wooden tokens that will be used in here to keep track of things like fatigue, your health level, and then these are recessed. So our weapon counters and ammo and food and health and med kits, all that good stuff sits right in there. Easy enough. That way you don't have to worry about losing your pieces. I really like these. I think these are a nice component. And before we touch on the last main thing, the little standees for the little plastic pieces for the standees, rather. There's a bunch of those included with the game. And then we have our dice for the game as well. So those are all the side components, right? But this is the real key thing that I liked about the game. And one, I also like this, should I say, because the player aid is actually built into the little holder here. So all this extra information, boom, right here. Movement tables or modifiers all right here onto this little player aid that also serves as the holder to hold all your components together. But this book is Escape from Stalingrad, because you'll notice one of the things that I haven't actually pulled out yet are any map tiles, right? You're asking yourself, what are you playing on? Well, I freaking love this because it gives the game the ability to be smaller, portable, and expandable. And the fact that your game is right here in the book. If you open it up, boom, here's your setup for your scenario. Here's your map, your little round tracker. All this stuff is kept track of right here. And you will actually take your counters, your minis, whatever you're using, and place it right here on these pages. Now, depending on what you do during your mission, because you can win some, lose some, make different choices, you will vary as you go through this book. So you're not going to play every single mission. Of course you can, but you will be told, go to, page 5, go to page 9, whatever it is. And that's going to be your next scenario that you're playing. So as you see here, boom, we've got another scenario. A friend will bleed. New map. Wake up, time to die. Stash. Move along. And boom, here are all of our missions. And there is just... Look at that. Look at that. And there are a few that are two-paged, obviously. Most of them are one pages. I'm not going to show you guys all of them, but there are a few that do take up 2 pages, and obviously the scenario information will be on the previous page. But this is awesome. I freaking love this because they are doing another Kickstarter, right? They're going to be doing another one. I think they're doing a prequel, if I remember right. If I read that right, I'm going to cover that game as well. But I love how they do this because there's so much gameplay. If you think about it, dealing with these game companies, I've learned that things like sheets, counter sheets, are one of the more expensive components that you can get. Of course, minis are the most expensive, but these sheets are the next most expensive. And if you make your tiles out of this material, then that's just going to jack that cost up. That's why you only see X amount of tiles, map tiles, to be played on. However, with something like this, it's just a sheet and a page, right? That's it. Just this page, this page, this page. These are all the levels that you're going to be playing on, so you can have so many more of them. Here, it's just the cost of printing the book. That's all they've got to do to have all these extra missions in there. Now, obviously, this is not as durable as a cardboard map tile is going to be, but I like this so much more because if they tried to come up with 100, whatever, however many pages do they have in this thing? Does it even say at the beginning? Let's see, 48, so roughly 50 pages. If you tried to come up with 50 different maps for a game using just 10 or 20 map tiles, that would be rather difficult. Most of the maps are going to start to look similar and samey after a period of time, unless you include a huge number of map tiles. But here, it's just whatever they print on the page. They can have any number of different types of locations that look completely different, that have specials like tanks. I just flipped to this one. I hope I'm not spoiling it for you guys, but it's awesome. The tanks on this thing. But that's what I'm saying, is it can be anything. It can be anywhere. The scenarios aren't limited by the map tiles that they have included in the game. The scenarios can be anything that they want them to be, because they just have to print it on the page. And like I said, the game can be expanded if they so desire by just printing out another book. You already have all the components, right? Boom, get you another book. You've got a huge campaign right there ready to go. And like I said, I love the fact that it is as portable as it is. You can use whatever types of tokens that you want to use the standees, use the little round ones. It's completely up to you on how you want to play it. You don't have to worry about the minis if you don't want to. And it gives you that option to have a lot of gameplay in a small package. So far, I am really liking and enjoying what I've seen. I'll say flat out, Escape from Stalingrad Z, when I've been reading the rules, it's similar to other miniature style games, zombie killing games that you've played. You're rolling dice, you're looking for certain numbers, certain modifiers, the same type of dungeon crawly experience that you've had with multiple different types of games, but they have tried something a little different in this. Now, I have seen a few other games try stuff like this, but not too many, and they have done a good job with it. So it is 100% worth checking out, especially if you're just looking for a dumb, fun zombie game to play that's not going to break your bank. Yeah, Escape from Stalingrad Z is really going to fit that bill. All right, but that's going to be it for me. Just showing you the components. By all means, stay tuned. I will have a playthrough up as soon as I can get to this one. Got a few games that are on the list ahead of it, but as soon as I get that time, I'm going to sit down with it and record a little session, let you guys see how the game itself plays out. All right, that's going to be it for me. Y'all take care. I'll catch you in the next one.